Hey guys, this is vlog number 4, and I've been talking a lot about technology and black people and blackness and how it's presented and viewed and all those type of things that I've been, having on my vlog. But it has occurred to me that there's kind of a foundation missing. We're talking about all these things and we have yet to ground them in a historical way, in a timeline. If you will. So for this week, I had a couple readings in Anna Everett's Digital Diaspora, Race for Cyberspace. Great read, great book. And she kind of just like historically contextualizes black people and their relationship to technology as it's been it's grown and as it's been complicated in the past 20th century and a little bit of 21st century, of course. So basically, one of the bigger questions that came out from my reading of chapters 1 and 4 is what social or cultural ideas have been key to black social or technological networks, basically. And the 3 big things that came out in this reading have been television, Afrofuturism, meaning like anything from literature to music, and also just the actual crafting of the internet. So those are the 3 big things that have kind of been laid the groundwork for black people and technology in the 21st century. So basically what Anna Everett, what her conjectures was that the television during the Civil Rights era was a way for the black experience to be mediated to white America. And it was a way for people to see literally like what it is to be black in America, as people were being hosed down, dogs were being put on them, they were being arrested, they were being beaten, and all this was televised, And because of white flight, white people were kind of away, a little bit removed from the action during the Civil Rights Movement, because a lot of the movements happen in urban areas because that's where the highest concentration of black people were, right? So we have white flight, and they're removed from black people. Besides segregation, they're not seeing black people. So what the television did, it put all those, like, that volatile reality of being black in America and fighting for first class citizenship or whatever that's supposed to mean, really, and put that right into their living room. So they were seeing that, and it was recreating a political space in the home, which Anna Everett traces back to FDR's fireside chats. If you remember any American years history, they talk about trying to get Americans involved in public policy that way, and it just helped the push for civil rights, just like for black people to get that first class citizenship, by getting everyone involved, literally like in their homes, they're watching this happen. So basically you're just getting a mediated experience of blackness, and that's like really like the big thing that kicks off black people and their involvement in technology and the digital realm. We're not going to go into technology in like different ways, but in the digital realm, that's like what kicks it off. And then the next thing she talks about is Afrofuturism. It was dominated by white men, particularly white people in general, and they were writing futures where people of color weren't in them. So, in walks in Octavia Butler, the Samuel R. Delaney's of the world, and they're taking back this genre and saying, hey, we exist too, and we want to be seen, we want to be heard, we want to create a future where we're in it, right? And a lot of the science fiction also, Anna Everett has this great quotation that I'm trying to find now, talking about just like how that, how science fiction kind of like, they take the black experience and put that onto white bodies and add like an element of horror to it. And again, it's like it was doing that by white writers doing that. It was creating another layer of alienation. On page 26, she says that black people live the estrangement that science fiction writers imagine. So basically that, and you can even trace that now to the Hunger Games that's still going on in dystopian fiction. People are putting oppressions of people of color, of LGBTQIA people, and they're putting that onto white heteronormative cisgendered bodies, and that that's supposed to be forward thinking. So you know, you have Octavia Butler and you have Samuel R. Delaney pushing against that, and pushing science fiction further, and what the future looks like for a black body that's already been dominated and colonized in a way, and what liberation looks like, or what the future would look like for an individual who is oppressed in this way. And also on the music side, you have the African Bambaataa of the world taking that technological, robotic aesthetic and putting that onto the black body that's already been, you know, roboticized in a way. We're the chattel of the world in the way that we have historically been slaves, and we're still the bottom caste in the racial hierarchy in America. So we're the slave drivers. We're not the slave drivers, but we're working 9 to 5 just to stay alive, to quote Beyonce. And you know, you're working. You get up, you work, you come home, feed the kids, whatever. So you have a very industrialized life. You have a very roboticized life. So they're taking that and they're turning it inside out by adding these, like, you know, having dances spawn out of Afro techno beats and things like that. So Afrofuturism is like in another way where black people are they're taking technology to push an alternative future for themselves. And then lastly, she talks a little bit about the internet and the crafting of Nigenet, which is this website for Nigerians who to talk to one another as they are abroad and what's going on at home. And even though the site, if you look at it, like how well it stayed together, it's not that successful. It was not that successful because it spawned off so many subsets, because, you know, a lot of people were talking. There was a lot of conversation. One person wanted to talk about gender inequalities. Another person wanted to talk about grassroots movement at home. You know, the things that usually happen on the internet. So you have those different forums and those different conversations and those different web pages. But really, it was another way in which black people were saying, hey, we want a piece of this technological pie, we want a piece of this future in the crafting of the internet, you know, which is seen as like a white male space, a space of privilege to be a part of that progressive future. You know, black people and people of color are usually seen as primitive, so for them to craft this internet, craft this space on the internet, this forum to talk to one another using technology as a go-between to mobilize between them and just speak to one another, was really another progressive thing for black people, and just another way that they were engaging in the internet diasporically. So those are just 3 things that kind of just give us like the basis of what blackness and technology looks like. A lot of it is having to insert ourselves in spaces where we're not wanted or not dreamed up or imagined or envisioned to be in. So I feel like that question is still standing. Like, what's happening? How are we not being included? Why are we not being included? How can we also participate in these things? So we have to very much so like say, hey, you know what, we don't have it, so we have to make our own. And that's been a particular theme in Blackness and technology. So yes, that was just my reading. This is a short vlog just to talk about, just so you guys can catch up and see where I'm coming in, so we can have a foundation in talking about Blackness and technology on this blog. As always, like, share, comment. If you're on YouTube, subscribe if you want to take pity on me. And yes, I have a new submission tag on my Tumblr blog, so if you guys have, because I really would like you guys to get involved, so if you guys have any pictures, videos, memes, literally anything that you think fits with the theme of this blog, please do so. I would love to have a conversation with a lot of you. So yeah, this has been a vlog, and thank you for your time.